Ayo, keep it high, keep it tight. It's Shameless Review Guy back to bring you another video, and I have to address the elephant in the room. I'll try not to dwell on it too long, but yesterday I apologize for the delay for the list week episode and the lack of editing. My editing software, Shotcut, ran into an issue, an unidentifiable issue, within the video after I'd recorded and edited the entire thing, and I was left with the bare bones minimum video and audio, and I had a full video completely edited, completely ready to go, and I spent hours trying to find out the issue and resolve it so I could release it for you guys, and unfortunately I was not able to do that, but I still wanted to stay consistent. I still wanted to put it out, so I did, but I apologize that that one isn't necessarily the quality I want to uphold. Now, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that nothing happens this time. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't think it will, knock on wood, but hopefully we'll be smooth sailing from here. So, welcome back to List Week. So, List Week's been rolling. This will be episode 6, will it? Won't it be? Wow, we've been doing this quite a bit. And we're going on until Friday if you're unfamiliar, new to the series. And every day we're doing like a music-themed discussion, a topic about just genres, bands, artists, and it should give you some insight into opinions of mine and bands and artists that I like. So, you can go check out the other ones. They're on the channel. That's awesome. If you want to, leave a like, or you can just stay here and be sure to tune in because we don't got too many days left. We have quite a few, but we're getting there. So, today, this is a list that was suggested, so I'm very excited to do it, and it was one that I had to kind of think hard on, and it's my top 5 biggest disappointing and most disappointing albums that I've listened to. And basically the condition for this is it's a band or artist that I enjoy that released an album or a set of albums that I believe are duds and that fell short of the previous quality. Now, usually I'm pretty open-minded. I'm pretty able to kind of compromise and understand that bands and artists evolve and maybe they don't evolve into the direction that I would have wanted them to, but it's not for me to decide. But for these, they're albums that I can't look past, that I can't just act like they're not there, and for that, we're going to dive right into it. So, number 5 is going to be Suicide Silence's self-titled album. This was obvious. This was pretty obvious. I feel like most people probably could have seen this coming. I don't have really much to say. I mean, it's the same. I don't like it for the same reasons that pretty much everyone else didn't like it. And I don't even blame Eddie. I think that he has the vocal chops needed to make a good Suicide Silence album. It was obviously proven. But he'll never be Mitch, that's for sure, even if he goes full on as best as he can to emulate, unfortunately, Mitch Lucker. He's obviously has passed away. He was in a motorcycle accident, if I remember correctly. He's not with us anymore. But even if Eddie was to completely try to replicate the style of Mitch, he would never be able to because I feel like Mitch was very unique, and he was the poster child for deathcore pretty much. And looking past that, it's like they wanted to become a nu metal band but didn't, and they didn't even really become a very good nu metal band. And Eddie's clean vocals need a lot of work. Obviously, Doris, Silence, they're obviously memes. They're obviously joked about. You got the tee-hee memes, and it's widespread in the metal community. It's known that it was a terrible album. They were terrible songs. There's some songs on there that are remotely bearable, but remotely bearable isn't enough to carry an entire album for me, and it's definitely one that fell short. So, number 4 is going to be Metallica's Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And I pretty much have a definitive reason that I am not a fan of these two albums. And it's pretty much, it's very simple. I think that Metallica is better than this. It made me kind of sad to see that they went into this direction where they didn't play to their strengths. And it would be different if this was either a new band or a band that were like this. I mean, take a band like Five Finger Death Punch. People like them. I kind of like them. I'm iffy on them, but I kind of like them. I like their new album quite a bit. Um, Take them. They're consistent. They play to their strengths. They know where they lie. And Metallica, on the other hand, they're so much better. You get classic albums like Kill 'Em All. You got Ride the Lightning. Even the Load and Reload cycle. You have the Black album. You have Master of Puppets. And it's like these two albums, it's almost as if they were putting them out just to have an album. And I don't think that they're playing to their strengths. I don't think that they're utilizing the instrumentation and vocalization that they can do. And it's not like they're getting older in their careers, because if you watch live performances where they play live and they're playing old classics such as Master of Puppets and Inner Sandman, they're still roaring out these vocals, and they're still playing so well. And some songs are decent. I'm not willing to say that there's no songs that are good. Atlas Rise, it's a pretty good song. But I have no desire to go listen to Metallica's newer albums when I could go listen to some of their old ones and get a better, more refined, and tighter knit band than what they have become. That's kind of dumb. Obviously, it's like asking someone it's the classic thing, asking someone if they want a $5 bill or a $20 bill. You're going to go with the $20 bill. And it's the same type of analogy with this. Why would you settle for something lesser when something is better and it exists and it's from the same band? So moving on from there. Number 3 is going to be a joint one. So these are the albums that came out this year by the hard rock bands of Godsmack and Shinedown. Shinedown's name is Attention, Attention, and Godsmack's is When Legends Rise, or When Heroes Rise. I mean, this is the terrible thing, is from the moment I thought of this list, I had it written down, and I had it in mind. I've done reviews of both of these albums, and I had them both in my mind, and from that point, I have forgotten the name of the Godsmack album. Do I need to say more? These are the most generic, boring, hard rock albums. Mundane, cookie cutter, boring vocals, boring instrumentation, that one ballad song that's always stuck in the middle that's supposed to give some sort of message that's been done before by everyone. Shinedown, I love Shinedown so much, but they released an album that in my opinion is their weakest, and I know it's polarizing. I know there's going to be people that argue up and down that it was needed in their discography, that it was still good. I don't think so. Godsmack's album, I can defend even less. I think that is the most... where hard rock's concerned, it's so weak. It's such a weak album, and both of those albums I just was not a big fan of, and I feel like I was fairly nice in the reviews. If I re-reviewed them, they'd get even lower scores, and... They're two newer albums that I could not put on this list because they really disappointed me a lot from bands that I had a high respect for. So anyways, we are moving on. Number 2 is going to be Asking Alexandria's album, The Black. So here, this album is a mixed bag for me. Obviously, this is the only album from Asking Alexandria to... showcase the vocalist that was with them for a bit, Dennis Stoff, before Danny Worsnop, the original vocalist, returned for their self-titled album. The Black, in my opinion, it took them in a new direction. You can't define Asking Alexandria by The Black because it's such a different album, and that's to be expected. They had a new mindset. They rewrote the album because there were too many parts about Danny. They had Dennis's influence, and they turned into an electronical band with these ballad tendencies. And Danny's singing voice, growling voice, screaming voice are better than Dennis. I'm sorry. There are certain tracks from Asking Alexandria's album, The Black, that I occasionally listen to. I own the album just because I finished off my collection. I need Reckless and Relentless, but I try to finish off collections from bands I really like, and It's a big blotch, in my opinion, on the face of Asking Alexandria's discography, because mixed in with these electronic or songs that are very weak, you get these ballad songs that are even weaker. Funny enough, what's the song I'm thinking of? The song Gone, the one that is the acoustic piano ballad where Ben Bruce sings on it. He's the only singer. That's my favorite song on the album. It diverged from their path, and I don't think it came out very well. And it's definitely 100%, 1,000%, a million trillion percent their weakest album, in my opinion. And it seems that a lot of people agree with me on that, especially now that Danny's back. You had people defending Dennis, but once Danny returned and he made the self-titled album and people saw what this band was really capable of, even when they go in a kind of more melodic, more softer approach, I think people saw what this band was truly capable of, and that is understandable. Finally, number 1, another fairly recent album, God, Eminem's album Revival, the most overblown, over-the-top, politically just charged album. And see, I don't mind political albums. I don't mind albums that have like an outlook on the world, because if you think about it, Eminem wasn't the first to do this. Hip-hop and rap have always housed these types of themes, but then Eminem's album, it's too long, for one thing. So many tracks aren't memorable. My 2 favorite tracks on the album are Walk on Water featuring Beyonce and River featuring Ed Sheeran. Do you see an issue with this? I don't like Ed Sheeran and I don't like Beyonce, but the songs that feature them are my favorites on the album. Yes, there are some just retrospective lyrics, there are some reflective lyrics, some lyrics that make you think, that open up Eminem's past, but it's nothing he hasn't talked about before. It really seems like he's breaking, he's like, just, he's not trying to reinvent the wheel, which is fine, but what you get is one side of this album is just him reiterating the same issues and the same things he's been rapping about for the past like 10 years, mixed in with these political songs that are obviously one-sided, and I have no problem with that, but it's the way he comes across. His flow is weird. The production on the album is weird. Some of the lyrics are very questionable, and it doesn't hold to the high standards Eminem placed. And I know there's some people who say it's his best album, and to that I just say, were you born 5 years ago? That's the best way I can put it, is like if you listen to this album and you can honestly say that you've listened to the rest of his discography and you say this is his best album, then perhaps our music tastes are different. I'm willing to accept that, but I can't see that. Like I said, I occasionally go back to Walk on Water and River, and that's sad. The fact that those are my favorite tracks, it's sad. But they are, and that should say something about the album, because I think it's very weak. But anyways, guys, my name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will give you a shout out. But I'll talk to you guys next time. Until then, I'm signing off saying farewell.
Oh no, what your mama gonna say when I tell her that I broke no heart? It's just things not the way that they used to be. Oh no, now you crying on the bathroom floor, and I guess it's the end. Well, I lost my mind and I lost my best friend.